What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode, guys. I am so excited for today's episode because I told you guys yesterday, this episode was so long awaited. Like, this wrestler I've known for, I want to say 4 or 5 years, maybe around there, but it's been a forever minute since I've seen them, since we ever even spoke. So I am super excited. Mind you, also I got a new setup, which you guys will see what I mean when I introduce this wrestler. But let's give a warm welcome to Smiley.
Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm happy and healthy, so I can't complain.
No, for real. So I always hop right into it with who or what got you into wrestling.
I remember it very vividly. I was at my grandparents' house, my great-grandparents actually, running around like a maniac with my little brother. We ran into the living room, and my uncles were sitting down on their recliners, and they were watching wrestling. And as we ran in the room, we see these 3 guys in the ring with leather and spikes and these crazy Jason-looking masks. It was Demolition. What is this? And then all of a sudden, you hear that, ooh, what a rush. And the Legion of Doom walked out, and I was instantly sold. I just plopped right down between the two of them and didn't move for the rest of the show. And it was Demolition, all 3 members of Demolition versus the Road Warriors and Ultimate Warrior.
Okay.
So you talk about a pile of characters in one.
No, absolutely. So is that like where the mask and everything played a part in, or is there a different story to that?
Well, that just came from kind of absorbing so much wrestling. So once I kind of got bit by the bug, I watched everything I could. And my uncles worked at the Civic Center because I'm originally from Portland, Maine. So my uncles worked at the Civic Center out there, and when wrestling would come to town, they'd take me to all the shows. And matter of fact, if I remember correctly, the very first wrestling show I ever attended was actually the very first time WWF ever did a ladder match.
Wow.
And it was Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels in a ladder match in Portland, Maine. So mad obscure, but that was the very first wrestling show I ever attended, which I thought was kind of a neat fact these umpteen years later.
No.
But once I became hooked on wrestling, I wanted more and more. And I had one friend whose dad was a video collector. So he was like a tape trader, what they used to call back in the day a tape trader. So he would get all these tapes from all over the place, and there were some stuff from Japan, and that's when I would originally see all the old school Japanese guys. And then there was a section that was all German wrestling, and then there was a section that he had and it was all Mexican wrestling. And when we pop those in and you start seeing people like Mil Mascaras, which I still kind of from that time, remembering parts in his match where the guy snapmares him down and he tries to rip off his mask, and there's another one on underneath it. He tries to do it again, and there's another one on, and that just stuck with me. So that for 20 years later, something like that, when I became a wrestler, I still remembered it and utilized that same tactics in my matches. The guys always go for the mask, so I have tricks up my sleeve and stuff. So
no, absolutely. So my dad is in the chat. He said, "Let's go," and then he's chanting your name because I'm sure. Yeah, because I've never seen someone with moves like Smiley. Best I've seen so far. Very creative.
Thank you very much. It's easier to be creative when you're a little whacked in the head and you don't think like everybody else does. I'm never gonna wrestle like a Daniel Bryan because he's of sound mind. Me, I'm a little nutty, so I move a little differently.
No, I mean, and that's good because all the different types of wrestlings, a lot of the wrestlers can take whatever they want from the individual ones and put it into one to their own style. So I think it's really cool.
Oh yeah, there's many cases on the wrestling world nowadays where you'll see something that I've been doing for years, and then all of a sudden somebody takes it to WWE, and now I'm being told I'm stealing their move, and but it's all whatever.
Sure. So if people don't know, are you a heel or are you a face?
Depends which personalities comes out that day. So you got multiple personalities in your head, you got multiple people that could show up. So I don't even know who's showing up half the time.
Not for
So
real. My friends be telling me the same thing. They'd be like, "What attitude are you having today? Are you gonna be happy? Are you gonna be mad? Are you gonna be
you know,
what are we doing today?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I
you
can figure out. I have my different personalities. It's okay."
yeah, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, for sure. So now, do you have like a specific warm up you do before you come out the curtain?
Mm, ironically enough, not so much. I mean, I like to say a little prayer for myself, before I go through the curtain, but that's just something for me.
Mhm.
Um, I like to get to the venues early because I like to get in the ring, bounce around, try and like do a little bit of flippy doo does and shit, just so like I can kind of warm up my body. But like
No,
then I get into the back and I call it the Jake Roberts warm up. Just kind of pump my arms, throw them up in the air, and go, all right, let's go. Just kind of walk through. So I'm not like the guys who are over there doing the push ups or they're doing all these stretches and the bands. I just throw my arms in a little circle and then, yep, I'm good.
yep, that's about it. So you are on your better days when you're a fan favorite. I mean, you're a fan favorite either way, but on your better days, you're like all the kids love you. So if any of those like fans came up to you and was like, "I want to do exactly what you're doing," what advice would you give them?
It's it's the it's the greatest and hardest decision you can ever make. So to become a pro wrestler, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. Like you said, like the kids that come up to you and they'll talk to you, and like I still have fans to this day that I met 10, 12 years ago that I'm still cool with today. Like I was online the other day and this one girl, India, I've known her since she was like 7 years old. And then the other day I log on to Instagram and she's in college. I went, whoa, wait a minute here. Like, where did this time go? I felt old last couple weeks ago at Three Legacies Wrestling. A gentleman comes up to me and goes, Smiley, my girl's not a fan of wrestling, but she has your autograph up on her wall. I went, does she? He goes, yeah, she met you when she was like 8 years old. I went, whoa, how old is she?
That's
And he tells me she's like 20 years old now. So now I feel old because
that's
apparently this person been watching me since she was 8, and now she
no,
another straight up adult.
no, really. The time be flying and we don't even know it.
Oh yeah, but it's definitely like I said, it's definitely like you got to be prepared, and it's not just the physical part you got to be prepared for that most people don't tell you about. Is it's like the emotional part. Like you're on the road for long hours at a time. I have a son. I'm away from him on the weekends. When we could be going out to like the trampoline park or something like that. It's like, oh, dad's got to go wrestle now. So
Yeah.
like you have to go out and you have to put the work in, and it's very strenuous. But like
Mhm.
at the end of the day, it's very rewarding. So you got to be mentally strong as much as you got to be physically strong.
No, absolutely. And so, like, since you have a son, if he ever was like, "Dad, I want to do exactly what like you're doing," would you give him that same advice or be like, I don't know about that?
Oh, absolutely. Like I think I mean I know a lot of wrestlers who say like I would never let my kids do this. I want my kid to do whatever he wants. Like if he wants to become a wrestler, I'll put him in wrestling school. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a stuntman. My mom bought me a ticket to California. She's like, "Go, try, see what happens." I lasted about 6 months and came home
You were
because
like,
California is a hard place to live.
no,
But yeah, whatever he wants to do, I'm there for him 100% of the time. Because like
no,
I said, like my life is so rewarding just because of wrestling.
yeah,
I've met my girlfriend through wrestling. Due to that, we have a child now. I've met some of my best friends through wrestling, and like you get to these people that tell you like I was having such a bad day or I was having such a hard time, like I didn't want to continue anymore. But then I saw you at this wrestling event and you were so nice and like I felt like I could keep going. And then like little things like that,
yeah,
you it's so hard to explain to somebody. So like I want him to experience that. If he wants to experience that through wrestling, go for it. You want to become an actor? Be an actor. Change somebody's life.
no, absolutely. I totally understand. Like, it is so great, but like, it has its like I guess you could say downfalls, but you always make the best of, like, the worst situations. Like, with me, obviously, I'm not a wrestler, and I'll give you that spotlight. I don't wanna be a wrestler. I did before, but not anymore because you guys go through a lot of crazy stuff. So but I do like the ring announcing and the, interviews, whatever, and it's like my friends are like, "Oh, I want to hang out." I was like, "Well, why don't you come out with me to the show?" So like, I see the worst, like the bad situations, I'll bring the best out of it. So
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
sure. So my dad says, "Could you see yourself in TNA or New Japan Pro Wrestling long term?"
Oh, absolutely. I would love to go to any of them. I did do a show for New Japan when they came to Manhattan back in, I think it was not this past October, but the October before. And that was like the greatest experience.
Oh my.
Like such a nice like environment. Like everybody was real cool, very like chill. Minoru Suzuki kind of sized up me and Montekia, so which I kind of marked out for a little bit myself. And he just kind of walked by, he looked at us, and went, and just walked away, and we're like, ah, murder grandpa approves.
Oh my.
But
I,
New Japan's definitely one. Like I want to go everywhere though. I want New Japan. I want AAA. I want CMLL. I want AEW. I want WWE. Like I want it all.
no, for sure. I mean, bringing up like Montekia, he he was one of my favorite wrestlers, but now I booked him twice for the podcast, and both times he didn't even show up.
That's son of a gun.
My heart. And another one, I think I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you and Elijah Aiden were a tag team at one point.
We were.
And
We
that's
still work as a group. We're what happened?
I said I think at PPW is when I met you two and you were a tag team. I was like, oh, you guys are a tag team. That's
We,
cool.
we technically, I still saying this. PPW, if you're watching, we still number one contenders. We won that gauntlet match. We should be getting our title shot. We never got our title shot.
Oh my god, tell me about it. That was a rant. I could be on forever, be like, yo, what happened?
Right.
Like, you know, there's so many, like, I think the great thing about the indie wrestling now is like there's so many companies everywhere. It's not just about that company, or you know what I mean? So like you got your
Oh yeah. It's so nice because it's like different environments, it's different people, different fans. It's so rewarding. And then like it's the best.
For
I love
sure.
it. I even love the travel. Like a lot of wrestlers will complain because they don't like the travel and stuff like that. As long as you got good travel partners and stuff, like
Yeah.
it's so nice. You know, my go-to crew, it's me, Big Daddy Cruz, and the Voodoo God Bones. We go out like on a road trip or something. Oh, it's a blast. Like every month we're taking 3.5, 4 hour rides out to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to go to a Three Legacies wrestling show and just laughing and having fun the whole time.
I love that. I love that. So my dad says PPW is under new management.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's why I got screwed out of my job.
Yep. And he says Voodoo is a good wrestler as well. He is
intimidating. You like the video server?
Maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my god, when I seen him wrestle, he was like, he was intimidating. I was like, you can do your thing. Go for it. Yeah. But you know, you guys are killing it. But so my next question is gonna be, how do you feel about like hardcore death style wrestling?
I love all wrestling. Like I did a little bit of it. I dabbled a little bit. I got skewered in Canada. I fought Necro Butcher in a garage basically in Long Island. Like my shortest match ever is against Nick Gage. You know, so like I've experienced some of the hardcore wrestling stuff, and like it's just a whole like, you know, it's like switching from a horror movie to a comedy movie, you know? Like,
oh yeah,
it's just a different flavor. But like I love it all. Like comedy wrestling, deathmatch wrestling, intergender wrestling, it's any of it. Tag team wrestling, you know, mixed tag, it's so fun. I love all wrestling.
No, for sure. So then my dad says, how long did it take you to perfect your craft?
I still don't think I perfected it. Like I still learn every single day, which is like the beauty of it. But like when the Undertaker says that he's still learning to the day he retired, I think we're all pretty much have to like fall into that category as we're learning until the day we quit. No. You know, but like, I mean, I just, a lot of my stuff came from throwing caution to the wind. You know, like throw caution to the wind, see what happens. If it works, it works. If it don't, just don't do it again or modify it.
No, exactly.
So it's definitely nothing that you can perfect because it's never going to be a perfect match. There's always going to be something I see in my matches that I should have done differently. I should have done better. You know, so for me, like I'll never achieve perfection, but I'll be the best that I can be as much as I can.
No, absolutely. It was so like with that being said, like I think everyone is their own worst like critic.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so that is so funny because like I said, like I'm not a wrestler, but like I was interviewing people and I was ring announcing and I was watching it back and I was like, oh my God, why did I sound like that? Like I could have been no. Let me retry that again. Not feeling
Yep.
it.
Oh yeah.
I totally understand. So, out of like all the places you have wrestled already, is there one specifically that you're like, I will go back anytime I got the chance to?
There's a bunch of those because I've just had so many good experiences in so many different places. I mean, House of Glory is my home. That's where I trained at and everything like that. Haven't been back there in almost a year, so they give me the call, then I have no problem going back. But House of Glory, of course, is home. Three Legacies out in Lancaster it's run by Ricardo Rodriguez. Uh, Very, very much one of my favorite places to work right now. Um, I just told Ricardo at one point, I'm like, my dream match one day is to wrestle Delirious because I knew Delirious did yoga training with them at his school. He's like, oh, maybe one day we'll make that happen. Like 3, 4 days later, a ad pops up on my phone. Main event: Smiley versus Delirious.
Oh my
So
God.
like for him to just like take like something that I said just in passing, like that's my dream match, and just to give it to me, like to find that opportunity and give that to me, I'm forever grateful for that one.
No,
Um,
sure.
and then it's just that one's so great because you're watching the company grow so quickly. Like they started. They're on their second year right now, so they started last January. I think was their first show, or last January is the first show I did, and they had one show before that. But like within like 9 months, they had like almost 3,000 people in a baseball stadium.
No, for sure.
It's like who does that? But then there's like then you go down to Jersey and you got Pro Wrestling Magic. Pro Wrestling Magic is another one that I consider home because like they've treated me well. I'm currently the general manager, so I run that place. Granted, I have a little bit more of a darker personality come out over there, so the fans ain't the biggest fan of me, but they got to deal with me.
No.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Monster Factory. I always love working for Monster Factory. Anytime Danny Cage hits me up, I'm there. Love Danny, love Missy, love everybody over at Monster Factory.
No,
So
absolutely. I had Ty Awesome on last night. He said the same thing about the Monster Factory. I was like, if any of you can face Goldie, I will pay you like so much money. Be like, here you go. Just to beat the crap out of Goldie because he deserves it. That man. He is.
I love Ty too. Me and him, we need a second match, but we had one hell of a match at Super 8 about probably 6, 7 years ago now. I think I want to say it was 2018 maybe 2000. Yeah, I think 2018. We had a match for the Super 8, and Ty is an incredible talent, super incredible talent.
For sure. So now, like on the indie level, if you could face anyone that you haven't faced already,
Ah,
who would you want to face?
Indie level, huh? I mean, Ricardo's on the Indies, and I keep telling him I want that match. We've been teaming lately, but I still want that match. I
Yeah.
have this thing about wanting to test myself against some of the best, and like to me, I love the people that are innovators. I love the people that like just create new stuff. And like Ricardo, like a lot of the stuff you see nowadays on wrestling, like that's Ricardo stuff. Um, there's another one out in England, Dean Allmark. He wrestles the Indies out in England. Dean Allmark is one of the greatest guys I've ever seen. Lace up a pair of boots. Like I
No.
love Dino. So I tell him all the time, like I want to wrestle him, and then he tells me we need to be a tag team, which that would be fun too.
Yeah.
Uh, Time Bomb over in New Japan. I don't know if they count as indies, but Time bomb. He came to House of Glory one time to train uh, before he did a show at Missouri, and I'm just being myself, bouncing around the ring or whatever, and he looks over at Sumi Sakai. He's like, I want to wrestle him. I want him now. And unfortunately, he had another match already scheduled, but like he wanted to wrestle me, and like ever since I heard that, I'm like, hell yeah, let's make this happen. Like, let's do this. Like,
For sure. No, I mean, those are some really great names. But my dad said Smiley versus Facade. I think that if you haven't faced already, that would be an amazing one.
I believe we've only met in tag team action. We recently did a tag team. It was me and Ricardo Rodriguez versus Facade and Danny Mo. So I beat him with a.
Yeah, you guys, like you and then Facade and them, they're like up there. I remember like when you guys were just like, especially like you debuted in PPW, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be their hardcore fan, which I always was. Not trying to brag, no, I'm just kidding. But you guys from then to now, like you've improved so much, and it's like so crazy to see. Like, I'm sure I'll have to find the pictures after of like back then. I want to say it's probably like 2019 or 2021 when we met. So.
I think it was right before COVID, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. It was a long awaited time. Okay, so my next question is now on like big time. They could be alive or dead. If you could face whoever, who would you face?
Ooh, live or dead? Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to go Road Warriors only because they're the reason I'm watching wrestling. I know I get my butt kicked, but I would love to share the ring with them. I just want to hear that. I want to be in the ring and hear that Road Warrior pop. That's what I want. I mean, there's so many good talents. Kenny Omega is one that always pops into mind. Kenny's incredible. Shawn Michaels, of course, is one of the greatest of all time, so you can't leave him out. I was always more of a Shawn than a Brett guy, but I still love to wrestle Brett.
Yeah.
God. My that I haven't wrestled. I was gonna say Private Party, but I've wrestled them so many times. But I wrestled Matt Hardy, so now maybe I got to wrestle Jeff.
No, for sure, yeah.
Jeff would be a good one. Alex Shelley's another one. I think that falls more into the indie one, but Alex Shelley just popped in my head. He's TNA, does that count? But yeah, Alex Shelley's another one, like incredible talent.
No, for sure. I mean, my dad probably is going to agree. You know, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, you know, maybe you and Elijah, you got to go back and tag team against them.
There you go.
You sound cool.
Get the band back together.
No, for sure. Okay, so my next one is you are doing amazing. You've had your foot in the door for a little bit now. But when the time came and I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. Okay, you've been doing amazing since the time you started. But if and when the time came, do you think it's going to be like an age thing, a mindset thing, or an injury thing that causes you to call it quits?
It will be death. I'll wrestle to the day I die. I will find some way. I'll roll into the ring in a wheelchair. I saw Ricky Shane Page do it on that old timey wrestling. I can do it too, but I can't. I just can't see myself ever giving it up. Like there's so much happiness and bliss that comes with standing in a ring, and it's funny. Trixie, my girl Trixie, will go to a show. And she knows where to find me at all times because if the ring is available, I'm in it. Like even if it's just stand there, it's just to stand there and just take it in and feel the ropes and feel the canvas and the buckles. Stand on that turnbuckle, like it's my therapy, if you will.
For sure. I mean, I totally get it because, like you said, kind of in the beginning, it's like you could be having the worst week, but then once you go to that show, everyone is majority of the time so welcoming and makes it all go away. So,
oh yeah,
I get it. So even if the time came where you like physically like couldn't do it anymore, would you still want to be involved? Like whether it's a trainer or a manager? Whatever.
Oh, absolutely. But I say it all the time. My dream is to run my own wrestling school one day. Like I want to. I love helping. I love teaching. I've been able to do a few different seminars, which I would love to do more seminars because I love to be able to educate people. Like I'm the guy that I go to a show and like I'll just look around and go, hey, can I show you a cool way to like reverse a clothesline? Like, let me show you this cool, submission hold I know. And I just start throwing things at people like, hey, do this, learn this. I can show you these. Like, so I say it all the time. My goal is to own my own wrestling school one day. And till then, I'll just anybody who wants to learn, I have no problem teaching.
No,
I love to help teach people.
No, absolutely. And we could always use some more schools. I know my closest school is like an hour away, so it's like it's fine. Like I said, they can have that spotlight. I'm not going to steal from them. I don't. You guys are doing great with that wrestling thing. Nah.
Probably a much smarter case.
Yeah. But my dad says Smiley versus Sammy. Get that guy. But you get
Sammy Guevara.
Guevara, yeah.
Love
Yeah, he's all right. No, I'm just kidding. Someone that I think you would have a great match with. He is big on the indies, and I always tease him about it, and I tell everyone to tease him about it. If you ever have a match with him, Lucius Crow. He is like such a heel. He's a bad guy, but like he is so small. He's so tiny. I always bring out like the face in him, and he's like, "Bro, you can't be doing this to me." But I'm like, "It's okay. You're so tiny."
Gonna give him that Napoleon complex.
Yeah, so whenever I could have someone like taller than him or like buffer than him, I'm like, go ahead, go have a match with him, but don't tell him I said that. No, I'm just kidding. He'll be watching. He'll be like, oh really? You
It's like real big Brian Burgundy. He's about 4 foot nothing and thinks he's like 9 feet tall sometimes.
Exactly. Oh my crazy. So now if people wanted to find you at some upcoming shows, where can they find you at?
All right. This weekend, Saturday, I'm supposed to be going down to Monster Factory again. So anybody in the Southern Jersey area, I'll be down there. This Sunday, I'll be wrestling in Long Island for Lucharitas, which is like a Mexican luchador themed restaurant, but they're doing like a little lucha rumble. I'll be wrestling Mike Law, which it's a long time coming. Me and Mike have known each other since probably the beginning, but never actually had a one-on-one. Always multi-mans, always like scrambles and stuff like that, but never the one-on-one. And then March 23rd, I'll be at Pro Wrestling Magic in the Ridgefield Park area, defending my Dark Arts title against Azrael, who is an incredible talent. So I don't know why, as general manager, I put myself against such a challenging opponent, but again, mentally unstable, so it works somehow. And then the world's largest veteran, I think he calls himself, Kerr. The man is a monster and scary because last time me and him wrestled, he moonsaulted on me, and the man weighs like 395 pounds, I think it was.
That is
crazy. He is huge. Then the week after that, March 30th, we have I'll be at Lancaster. I think it's Lancaster. I'll be at 3LW. They're doing a giant super show at the Civic Center down there, and I will actually be teaming with my hero / rival, Mr. Delirious, as me and him go one-on-one. As we go for the tag team titles for the inaugural tag team championship for Three Legacies Wrestling. We'll be wrestling Dog Nation, so that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, I swear you gotta win that one because Dog Nation, they are something. They are a tag team. I've seen them wrestle like forever ago, and I just got in contact with the one to come on the podcast. He's like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "Don't I didn't forget you and me. We still have problems from back in the day." But no, so obviously, best of luck. And now, if people want to find you on social media, where can they find you at?
All right. Instagram and Twitter are the same. It's Smiley_Lucha. Facebook, it's under Ernest Price, which is the doctor from the asylum I'm usually on the run on. There's a pro wrestling tees. I have a store up on there. All you gotta do is just search Smiley and don't click on Dante Smiley. I think his name is or Norman Smiley. I think Norman's got one up there too. Actually, funny story, real quick. Sorry.
No, stand.
We were doing a show for Pro Wrestling Magic at a school. So like the school, to kind of hype up the event, they were putting up like the match graphics, but they were making their own match graphics. So apparently I was wrestling John Gresham. So apparently they just Googled John Gresham and they found a picture of John Gresham and they just typed in wrestler Smiley. And apparently they put up a picture of Norman Smiley.
Oh my god.
Very different man from me. Very different wrestling style than me. I was not doing no big wiggles out in that wrestling ring that night, but
Oh my god.
I thought that was. I still have the picture. Like one of the guys who runs Pro Wrestling Magic, he thought it was the girl, so he took a picture of it, sent it to me while I was at work, and it was just a riot.
Crazy. But thank you so much, guys. Please, 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 please click his little Instagram link down below. I'm sure you can find everything you need from there. It was such long awaited. I'm so glad we finally got to do it. Now we got to convince, Elijah Aiden to do it.
Oh yeah.
But, and Montekia, because he's going to be fine.
He's recovering. He got time. He should be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's recovering from injury. He should have time.
Exactly. If not, then he's gonna catch some hands. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
But thank you so much for coming on, guys. I may or may not be back tomorrow with Gus the Savage. Go hit up Gus the Savage and tell him to get his butt on this podcast. No messing it up. No, I'm just kidding. But I will be posting next week's episodes, guys, very soon. So stay tuned to the Instagram. And